Everybody, welcome back to the sawmill. I don't know if you saw my video the other day of a little bit of damage here to the stop for the turning arm, the turning claw. Well, mill's all cleaned up. I was out doing some service on it, greasing and checking the oil and whatnot. And I figured, well, let's get this thing apart. I have a buddy with a welder. Rather than drag my entire mill over there, we're going to take this off. So I'm going to start off with these springs right here. The arm is, I brought the arm up to its highest position, just so it's easier to work on. It's not under the mill. And this neat little tool here. This is from back in the day for exhaust springs on two-stroke engines, small two-stroke engines or two-cycle engines. This is for the exhaust springs for the expansion chambers. I used to build race motors for those, and we used to race those. But one of my leftover tools from back in the day. This should hook onto these springs and pull them right off here. So if I could have Deb hang on to the camera, keep that right in the middle, and keep an eye on me. So we're gonna go ahead and take the springs off. This should work. Okay, here we go. There's one. Just let that drop underneath. Here's the other one. This is the one that looks damaged. It looks, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. Let's see if I can get this arm out of here now. Yeah, no spring tension. Let's drop that down. See, this spring is bent. Come in from the top, huh? So you can see the bend. That spring is bent, and the very end here, I think this pulled out some, because it doesn't look exactly like the other spring. It should. I think it got pulled up some compared to the other springs. So from above, huh? There we go. But it looks like it's pulled out a little bit. No, you're good right there. They're both a little bent. I might just order a set of springs for this. These will probably keep functioning, but they were really stretched. When this arm went back, like what you see here now, the arm was laid out like this, flat, with the log laying on top of it, back on the loading arms. You'll get to see that video. That's my comedy of errors video I'm going to be posting. I was doing some poplar, and it was a bad day to be on the mill for me. But let's go ahead and keep working on getting this off of here. So far on the list, 2 springs. I'll be calling Wood Miser. Hold on one second. Let me get a few more tools here. All right, so we have the cotter pins ready to come out. I went ahead and straightened them out off video here, so didn't have to watch me fumble with that. You know, I'll know how cotter pins can be to straighten out sometimes, but it went fairly easily. So let's go ahead and pull the cotter pins out, drop it on the ground, of course, because I'm on video. Take off the washer. There's a washer on here. Take the washer off. Let me grab that cotter pin off the ground. Set that there. And again, here on the other side, another cotter pin and the washer. Now this arm is under tension. The pin is under tension, so I can't get it out. So I'm going to back the hydraulics off a little bit on this. So hold on one second. Let's get that taken care of. All right, so, well, I should have tried that first. It is not under tension. Just have to take a little weight off of it. It's not under hydraulic piston tension, so let's see how that's going to be to get out. Hopefully not rusted in there. It shouldn't be. The mill's only 2 years old, so let's see how it works. Let's see here. I have to climb in here. And it is not moving very well. Doesn't seem to be seized to that. Gotta find something to prop this up. Bring a dead blow hammer out. See about tapping that out of there. Are you recording?
Yeah.
You recording?
Yep.
Okay. Well, it's not that it's rusted in there or anything, folks. It's just it's not the easiest one to slide out. So I tapped it a little bit, got it to move easily. Just a light tap. So now I'm just gonna grab it lightly with a pair of vice grips just so I can get a hold of it and see what all can. It's gonna fall out, which everything here is gonna fall. This is gonna fall. This is gonna be loose, and that's gonna be loose.
All right.
Can you put a hand on this?
Yeah, I'm gonna get off here so I can help you.
Okay. All right. So pin's out. No mar marks from the vice grip. Set that aside. So you've got the upper part of the arm out already. That we can set aside. We got a bucket underneath the mill here. Set the cylinder on, and here's what we got to take out yet. Just take these springs off. Set those aside. We can reuse those if we have to. And then we got to go over to this end. I set that on a bucket, the cylinder, because when it goes all the way down, it's resting up against something else. I don't like that. Things break when you do that. So I'm gonna set that down in there. I'm gonna go around the other side of the mill. Got one small, looks like 7/16 half-inch bolt with a nut on it to take off. We'll be able to remove that pin. So let's get around the other side of the mill. And yes, this came off the mill. This was what was apparently it was barely hanging on. I thought it was a lot more solid. I actually drove to the car wash with this hanging on. But that's supposed to be flat. It was like this. The arm came back, apparently more than once, came back and hit this and bent it. So now we got to flatten this out. It's probably stretched too. So I'm gonna end up grinding all the weld off of that arm when we flatten this out and just welding it back in the same spot. Maybe it might be better to maybe weld a fatter piece on there, maybe a little thicker, because this is only 3/16. Yeah. Well, put it this way: if this doesn't break, something else will if I make this that it doesn't break. So let's stick with what they got us, but maybe I'll find a new piece of this, and I have some steel in there. Find a new piece of this. We'll just weld a whole new piece in. So let's get around the other side of the mill and we'll work on getting that arm off. So come around to the other side of the mill, here on the operator side. We've got the upper part of this arm, just a pin, plate on the end, bolted into place. No other way of securing it. So it'd be just simply pulling this pin, and we've got this this section of the arm, the turning arm, off of the mill. I'm just looking at something going on. That pin better clear my clamp. If not, I'm going to have to move my clamp away. Let's see how it goes. Here you go, Deb. Working right there. Maybe I'll edit the boring stuff out. This is super exciting, loosening a bowl here. So. Yeah, I have an impact wrench. Don't really need to use it for a job like this. Let's go ahead and set that aside. This arm's got to come up so I can get a hold of it. And let's see about this pin. Of course not. Oh, there we go. Sliding out. It's going to hit my clamp. Yes. Oh, wait a minute. Nope.
Cool.
Just clears it. I had to turn. See the plate here on the end? I had to turn that plate downward like this so it could pass the clamp. It was turned like this for assembly. When you pull it out, turn it down, and it'll bypass your clamp. Actually, no. It's not the clamp it was hitting. Get down here, then. It was hitting this, your stop. Your clamp stop was hitting that. The clamp it was clear of. So it was this. Luckily, we don't have to remove that. That's a plus.
Yes.
Thank you, Wood-Mizer. Let's go ahead and get this arm out of here because it's getting a little heavy. And we'll work on getting that piece of steel flattened out, or possibly looking for another piece. So I'm gonna lift that out. And we're good to go. When I was greasing the machine, I figured, don't bother greasing this because if I'm taking it out, it's not gonna help me out at all. So, and here we are, the underside. Let's get a shot of this, Deb. Right here, where's my piece at? There it is. Right there, looks like. Let's turn that around, maybe it was this way. Nope, it was this way. Just like that. And you can see it stretch because it won't even fit over on that side anymore. So, might be good idea for me to cut another piece. Let me try that. Yeah, that's stretched. When I flatten this, it's just going to be even worse. Either that or flatten it out and cut it off a little bit. Or flatten it out, grind both welds off, and just re-weld it. Let's see where we're at with that. Got a couple of options. Down here in the basement laundry room with one of my better vices. Beat this one into submission. I do not have another piece of this around the house. Wow. That's twisted too. I'm going to get the other end knocked back out. I'll put it in the vise and try to untwist it. Yeah, I'm holding it with vice grips because when you hit this thing, when you're holding it in your hands, it doesn't feel good. Alright, turn it back around. Do it a few more times here, should be able to flatten that out. Yes, I am wearing safety glasses. Paint chips can blind you just as well as a piece of steel. And I like my eyes. Put it in place. Tell you what, if I can twist this that easy, it might be a good idea to go get another piece. I don't know what grade steel this is, though. And I don't know if my local Tractor Supply is going to have a piece of the same grade. It's probably just mild steel, but I think we got it. Still a little twisted yet. Yeah, it's a little twisted. How much that matters. Might have even twisted when it was welded. Who knows? Good grip on that. You know what's better for this? Hold on. Kind of small. Bigger pairs out in the other shop is a pair of adjustable, or a pair of adjustable. Let's see if that got it. Yeah, I think we're okay. Nowhere near perfect. I still have that option of getting another piece of steel though. Actually, I think I made it worse. Let's try that again. Up on this end this time. This has been that easy. I don't know. Well, it's better. It's pretty beat up. But it is flat. Let's go see what we got to do to make it fit. Okay, you can see what happened here. I don't know if you can get close enough to this. This is, yeah, it obviously stretched the steel because it's out beyond where it was welded now. So my other concern was marking where this was welded on, but it's easy enough to figure that out because they machined a flat here for this steel to sit on to weld on there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and grind these off. And since I've got to grind the paint off of here anyway, this metal's been stretched. It's been compromised. I'm going to see about getting another piece from the local Tractor Supply store. In case I don't know if you guys have Tractor Supply where you are, but Tractor Supply is what we go to for our needs like that. But what I'll do is I'll grab a piece from them and I'll see just how tough it is. And it looks like it's about the same strength, same grade steel. I'll go ahead and use that. But I have no idea what grade steel this is. So it's a guess. How was this on there? This was on like this. Yeah, you can see. It stretched, tore the steel out, and it's probably stretched at a good 1/4 inch. So let's go ahead and grind these off, get it prepped for welding, and We'll go from there. Alright, well, both surfaces cleaned up, and like I said, we could just take that, plunk it back on there. Like that, I think is the way it came off, according to the bends in it. Plunk that back on there, weld it up, and good to go. Of course, cleaning up these ends a little bit. But let's go see what we can find at the local Tractor Supply store.
Okay.
Okay, what we're going to do here is just keep track of all of our hardware we took off of here. Go ahead and, there we go, slide the pin back in and just finger tighten the bolt. It's the other way. It might be a clearance issue if I don't put it on right. I think it was on that way. If not, I'll check the video and find out. And on the other side, and on this side, I'm going to put the claw part of the arm just up here on one of the bunks. A couple of the springs, the two springs, just lay those in there. Now, oh, where's my pin? There's my pin. That's why you got to keep your stuff organized. But we'll do with the pin. Just Slide that back in here. Put the 2 washers on it. And drop the cotter pins in. And get my tool adjusted here. You hear that? My neighbor owns an airplane. I'm going to go ahead, just give it a little cotter pin. Hang on one second. A little tweak. Just a small one, just enough so it stays in there. Must have his hot rod airplane out. He's got 2 of them actually. There we go. That'll hold everything in place. Everything will be here. Cylinder down here. Down here is still on the bucket. Resting, because if you let it go down, it rests on the arm that's attached to all the stops. And then there's hydraulic lines and stuff down there. I'd rather not have it dangling down there and press it on that and laying in the dirt. So let's keep it up off the ground. Go ahead and gather up our tools and head on off the Tractor Supply. And here's our weld repair. Nice piece of steel welded across there. Good weld job on it. I had a friend of mine do it. He took it into work. I don't have a welder here, so. And visiting kitty cats. You want to better get out of here because we're about to spray paint. Now you don't want to be orange cat, do you? But he did a nice job. I'm going to go ahead and get some paint on this. Just keep it from rusted up. It's got a just a spray can. It's actually Kubota orange. Overpaid for it, and I don't think it's going to be a quite the right match, but we'll see what we get out of it. But hey, it'll keep it from rusting. Let's get set up here. Okay, metal's already been cleaned up, wiped it off real good, get the grease off of it, and that should do it. Should let the paint stick to the metal. According to the directions, no primer necessary with this paint, so let's go ahead and get it painted. Apparently this is a fan tip, not a straight tip. Alright, gonna let that dry to a couple of coats on this and have it done no time at all. Still waiting for the parts to come in from Woodmiser. A couple of springs, cotter pins. I mean, I don't have to replace the cotter pins, but I'm gonna do it on this. I don't need my mill falling apart in the middle of using it, so. So new cotter pins. The springs, I could put the old ones back on, use them till the new ones get here. Same with the cotter pins, but I have nothing to mill right now, so no rush to get the mill back together other than it's getting colder outside. So let this dry, we'll hit it with a few more coats and we'll be done with this. Wow, that's pretty dark. There we go. Second coat. Short daylight hours around here these days. Get out of here, goofball. You know, curiosity killed the cat. In this case, it's going to get you sprayed orange. Get. Yeah, I got cats wandering around out here while I'm trying to spray paint, so. Yep, I think we got enough on there. 2 coats ought to do it. If not, I'll put some more on tomorrow. But for now, getting a little too cool out for the spray paint and a little too late. So just going to put this aside for now and move on to something else. Here are a couple packages from Wood-Mizer. Let's open them up and see what's inside. I'm guessing this is, it's weird because they only said that the cotter pin shipped. They didn't say anything else shipped. 2 cotter pins. All right. Everybody, I could reuse the old ones, but why bother? Every time I rebuilt motors before, they said to replace cotter pins. So, and in the big box, I know what's in here. Pretty sure what it is. Sure. Oh, hide it from you. There you go. What do we got? Lots of paper packing. All right, 2 springs. They aren't bent. All right. And 4 wheel belts. I was told just buy B57 belts. I was also told Wood-Mizer has these done specially for them. And to just buy the Wood-Mizer belts. I mean, they have their name on them. Whether they just have the name printed on them and it's the same old belt or not, I don't know. But not something I want to buy the wrong thing of and end up destroying my mill. So, all right. Looks like we're finishing up our mill repair today. Stocking up on some good belts. I had a couple of used ones from my old mill that had little wear on them. And now I've got 4 brand new ones. If you don't know how to handle these, you have the one on the drive side usually wears out a lot faster. Starts to mushroom out here. And I don't even know if you can see what I'm talking about here. There we go. It'll start to mushroom out along the edges here. And it's easy enough to see. When that starts to happen, you take that one off, get rid of it. Take the one off the driven side, the other side. Put it on the drive side because more than likely it's not going to have near the wear. And then put the new one on the driven side. And that way you replace one belt at a time, rotate them over. And I've heard some guys actually rotate them back and forth. Then you wear out both belts at the same time and have to replace both of them at the same time, but doesn't matter. All right, let's get all this stuff out to the mill. I've got the arm all painted up, and 2-3 coats on there, and that's ready to go. We'll get everything reassembled back on the mill, get my log turner back functioning again, and be able to wrap up this repair. Okay, our parts have come in. We got our springs and our 2 cotter pins. Repairs and paint have been made to the broken piece of the, I guess the lower part of the turning arm. But we're ready to start bolting everything back together here. I'm only going to have this single angle shot here. I have no camera operator today. She's still at work. We're going to go ahead and pull that pin out there on the far side. That one right there. I'm going to bolt nut, got to come out of there. Pull that pin out and get the repaired part of the arm back in there to start with. So let's get started on that. We got just a 1/2-inch socket, and don't have a wrench handy, but so just use the adjustable, no big deal. Set that aside. If you remember back at the beginning of this, when we started wrapping this stuff up, we put all the nuts and bolts and pins back where they belong, so which makes it easier to get to now. Alright, let's see if I can hang this arm down in there and put the pin back in. So, can see the new stop welded in here. A couple coats of Kubota orange paint, which turns out to be a pretty good match. I can add paint to it later if I need to. I have a funny feeling it's going to be peeling off. We'll see. Let's get it in there. This arm got to weigh a good 40 pounds, roughly. See if I can balance it in there. Get this pin back in there. Let's set that there. There we go. Pull that up. Aha, one second. Let's put that in there. There we go. Got that lined up. Let me get this bolt back in there and I'll show you what I had to check on there. This is a nylon locking nut on here, so no need for Loctite. You could still Loctite it if you wanted to, but I won't be doing that today. And no, I don't have a torque spec on this, but I'm sure it's not all that high. So that's back in. I'll go ahead and put some grease in these fittings a little bit later on, but I'm going to come around there and show you what I was worried about there at the bottom. Alright, just below, out of the frame, when I put this arm in first, it was over top of this cylinder. That's when I realized, nope, gotta have that over top of the repaired piece. Now I'm gonna have to retract the end of this cylinder back in some to get it to line up a little bit better. I'm gonna have to be pretty accurate with that because it's got to line up with the next two pieces that fit in there. So let's get the mill turned on here and get that moved. Technical difficulties and dinner. It is now dark outside. We've got some work lights sitting here helping us out, and I've got my headlamp on, but also Deb's home, so she can help with the camera. So I'm going to get around the other side of the mill and get to reassembling this. We saw before, we got this back together, and got that bolt back in there, and now we've got to get the cylinder, the hydraulic cylinder, the lower part and the upper part of the arm all lined up and get a pin through it. And we've got one of our cat visitors. So I'm going to turn the phone over to Deb and we can try to get this done. The other little bit of technical difficulty was, fortunately the guy I had weld this did not maintain the spacing here, and it closed in. We're talking 5/10 thousandths, but the arm got tight in there, the upper part of the arm. So that was not working because the arm wouldn't fit in between these two blocks. So I had to do a little bit of filing to get them back a little bit. It's all it took was a little bit there. Now the arm fits right in. It wasn't serious, but it was enough just to be concerning. So, all right. Take that out. I've still got my, what else am I looking for here? Could use something right across there, maybe. We'll see. Let's see where everything's going to line up at. And I can pretty much tell you it's not going to line up top here. And it's not going to line up down there. Pick this up, bring the cylinder up above it. We know that. This is going to get interesting. Because I've got to hold all of this and put the pin in. So, let's see here. Put it down. This into here. Now, pick the whole mess up without pinching my fingers in here. Button. Okay.
Going.
on.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Deb. The other technical difficulty is my phone is too cold. I need a real camera. Alright. Let me look at this here. Got to get the upper arm. Really got to be careful. Heavy steel likes to pinch fingers. That might be it. Let's see if that'll help hold that up. Might be just enough. Probably not. There went the cylinder. Tell you what, let's line up these two first. Get them started. Man. There we go. That's two. Now, bring the cylinder up. There we go. Oh, nice. Whew. A little awkward working here, folks. Are you getting right in here?
Mm-hmm. Your gloves covering it. There you go.
Oh, you're supposed to be getting in here.
All right. Sorry. There you go.
There we go. Alright, where are we not lining up? Got almost all of them. Last little bit. You know what? I'm gonna do myself a favor. Hold on one second. There. Don't know if that helped line it up or make things worse. Always that last little bit, isn't it? Hey, hon.
Hmm.
You can't go over there, can you? I really could use a board underneath it here.
You want me?
Oh, hang on. That gonna fit? Oops. Here. That may have done it. So close. It started in there. There we go. Finally. Well, out of this whole job, that seems to be the toughest part. Now we've got two washers. On each side, I gotta move that over a little bit. There we go. Hang on one second. Shot of both sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks. And two new cotter pins, straight from Wood Miser. Could have bought these at Tractor Supply, but I had to order some other stuff from them. So what the heck? All right. Was that that way or this way? I can't remember. It was this way. It was. Bend the long one out. It won't really matter because the pin could spin around anyway, so. Alright. And bend that up. And I think we're in business. There we go. Alright, that takes care of most of the heavy stuff here. Let's leave that right there for now. And get one tool over here. Two new springs, again directly for Wood Miser, and spring insulation tool, which is, if you missed the first part of the video, Used to use that on two-stroke exhaust system springs. It's fairly heavy. I think it'll do the job. Let's see. So, I get this in here, right? Right, like, come on now. There we go. There's one. And sorry, my hands are probably covering everything up here. And the second one. Now, let's bring out the upper arm. You don't have to get too close.
Okay.
Can't see what I'm doing if you're too close.
Yeah, and the light's shining on.
Yeah. Is that right? Yep. Let's go in under here, though. There we go.
Sorry.
Right down here. I don't know if you can come in from the side or there. Either way, one. These are really handy for doing spring work. And okay, hang on one sec. Two. Springs are on. All right, let's check that. You know what? These springs actually feel stronger than the last ones. All right. Lift that up if I can now. I don't know if I can. Might have just done myself in by putting the springs on there. Yeah, there we go. All right. There we go. That's out of there. Get rid of that. Pick up my tools. Now, let's check operation. Of course, I got to get my bucket out of here. The bucket I was using to hold everything up. Just keep an eye on that. Take it all the way up. Move this cord. This is going to get caught in there.
Oh, sorry.
Lower the stop. There you have it. Back together. New springs. New cotter pins. Repair looks good. Solid.
Okay. There you go.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. One repair done. Thankfully. Hopefully my lovely assistant did some good cinematography work. So,
Hopefully.
yeah.
I got my hand
Nice.
here once.
Oh, she stuck her finger in the lens. Okay.
You'll see it.
That's all right. But there you go.
Okay.
Just that one little hiccup with the when it was welded, it drew it together a little bit, just the tiniest bit, which made the difference of getting the upper arm in between those little blocks. One block there and one block over there. So, but all in all,
You want your gloves?
good fix. I'm going to grab the grease gun, pump some grease in these. Down at the bottom, that pivot is just done with ATF, same as the rails here in the mill. So let's go ahead and get the head put back in place, get the grease done, and we are finished with this repair. Thanks for checking it out, guys. Hopefully, yeah, maybe somebody learned something. Maybe you have the same damage in your mill and you need to do some repair work, but it's not that difficult. You know, a welder can do a little bit of work on that. Make sure they keep that space correct in there, and then you won't have to deal with what I had to deal with there. So good to go. Almost 1,800 subscribers. We're going to keep some kind of video coming for you guys best we can, even over the winter months. So hopefully no more repair videos. Rather not have to deal with repairs, rather deal with milling. So thanks again for checking us out, and like, share, subscribe, hit that notification button. You'll get a notification every time we put up a new video. So thanks again. We'll see you out here next time.